Good evening. Being 7 p.m., I'll call to order the McHenry County Board regular meeting of March 18th, 2026. And Mr. Collins will lead us in the pledge today.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
And for our invocation this evening, we have Pastor John Gaynor from Grace Fellowship Church of Woodstock.
Well, thank you for having me, and it is wonderful to see the community coming together to figure out how to live together well, and that's what we're here for. I would like to open us up in a word of prayer. Let's pray. Father in heaven, we thank you for this opportunity to gather and for those who have been entrusted with the leadership of this county. Your word tells us that governing authorities are meant to be servants for the good of the people. And we pray that that would be true here today. Grant these leaders discernment as they weigh difficult decisions. Help them to pursue justice and love, mercy, and to walk in humility. Where there is disagreement, I pray that there would be patience and respect. And where there is uncertainty, I pray that you would give clarity and wisdom to each of the leaders here. Shape their leadership after Christ, who came not to be served, but to serve, and to give himself for others. May that same spirit mark the work done here in this room. We entrust this meeting to you in the name of the Father, and the Son, and the Holy Spirit. Amen.
Amen. Mr. Theriault, could you please call the roll?
Althoff.
Present.
Campbell.
Here.
Collins.
Here.
Gottemoller. Greeno. Hendricks.
Here.
Kaminsky.
Present. Army strong.
Kearns. Krieger.
Here.
Kunkel.
Here.
Sager.
Here.
Shorten. Scala.
Present.
Smith.
Here.
Sullivan. Thomas.
Here.
Van Hoff.
Present.
Von Bergen.
Here.
16 present personally, Chairman.
Okay, having a quorum, I'll entertain a motion to allow Ms. Greeno to attend remotely. Ms. Althoff makes the motion, Mr. Kaminsky seconds. Ms. Greeno, could you state your reason for remote attendance?
Business.
Okay, with that, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Against? Welcome, Ms. Greeno. Next, I'll entertain a
Thank you.
motion to adopt the agenda. Mr. Scala makes the motion, seconded by Mr. Shorten. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Against? Motion
Aye.
carries. Next, I'll entertain a motion to approve the minutes of previous meetings. Mr. Scala makes the motion. Mr. Smith seconds. Any discussion or changes? Seeing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Against?
Aye.
Motion carries. Before I start my remarks, I'd like to allow Mr. Theriault to say a couple of words.
Last night, as the polls closed and the final ballots were counted, we lost one of our own. Peter Culver passed away doing something he believed in deeply, serving his community as an election judge. Peter gave years of faithful service to the Democratic Party and the democratic process in McHenry County. He served because he understood something that too many take for granted. Freedom is not self-sustaining. It requires tending. It requires people willing to do the hard and unglamorous work of making democracy real, not just in theory, but in practice, one voter at a time. The work is hard. Let no one tell you otherwise. Our judges report before dawn and work well past nightfall, 15 hours or more staying at their post with little opportunity for a break. Most of our judges are past the age of 65, and yet they lift equipment, set up polling places, navigate complicated procedures, and do it all with the patience and professionalism. They greet every voter, the grateful and the grumbling alike, with dignity. They absorb frustration that is not theirs to bear, and they do not waver. And while they represent their party, when you get to know them as I have, you know they're doing it for their country and community. They understand the gravity of the work and the gift that they've been given to protect. They are a rare breed, and I couldn't be prouder of Peter and his fellow election judges. McHenry County is truly blessed by these stalwart patriots. They don't do it for the pay, they don't do it for the recognition. They do it because they're the kind of people who still believe that showing up matters and that civic duty is not a burden, but a privilege. What Peter Culver did, what all our election judges do, is among the most profoundly patriotic acts available to a private citizen. They are the quiet guardians of the ballot box. They are the human infrastructure of liberty itself. To every election judge serving McHenry County, we appreciate you, we honor you. What you do is sacred work. And to Peter, who gave his last full measure of devotion, not on a battlefield, but at a polling place in the community he loved, we say thank you. You did not just talk about democracy. You showed up for it, right up to the end. Rest now, Peter, your work is done, and done well. We'd like to share a special word of thanks to the McCullum Lake Police Department and Coroner Dr. Michael Rain's office for their cooperation and support during this tragedy. Thank you for the opportunity to speak.
We could have a moment of silence for Mr. Culver. Thank you. Good evening. I have several items to report to the County Board before we move on to tonight's agenda. It's my pleasure to report that McHenry County has once again won the Triple Crown Award from the Government Finance Officers Association of the U.S. and Canada. This high honor, signifying that the county has received all 3 financial reporting awards that the GFOA offers, is one of the very few governments that attain, and demonstrates our commitment to responsible budgeting and transparency. Congratulations to CFO Carrie Wise and the Finance Department for their hard work and expertise. And congratulations to our Valley High Nursing and Rehabilitation Home for being voted the top McHenry County healthcare facility to work for in Shaw Media's 2025 Top Workplaces, as voted on by its readers in the annual competition. Valley High is not only a winner, it is a back-to-back winner, having taken the crown in the 2024 competition, and it also won runner-up in the prior 3 years. Thank you to Administrator Tom Anarella and his amazing staff for their hard work and dedication. On Friday, March 6th, our Veterans Assistance Commission convened a Veterans Mental Health Summit right here at the County Administration Building, bringing people and agencies together to talk about what they do and how to share resources to help our veterans. Our VAC was joined by Court Services, the Lovell Federal Health Care Center, Veterans Path to Hope, McHenry County NAMI, and Sheriff's Office Police Social Work Program. Thank you to all the participating organizations, and thank you to Nate Johnson, who has hit the ground running since becoming our VAC superintendent in January. The first week in March was the deadline for local governments to submit their community project funding requests for the next round of federal appropriations. McHenry County submitted funding requests for 3 projects, and I'm happy to report that over the past few weeks, I wrote many letters of support on behalf of our municipalities for their funding requests. As always, McHenry County aggressively seeks out every federal and state dollar we can get for local funding to help offset property taxes. Our local American Legion and VFW posts will be coming together once again to hold their annual Vietnam Veterans Day event at the Vietnam Veterans Memorial here at the entrance to the County Administration Building. The event takes place at 2 p.m. on Sunday, March 29th. And I just wanted to pass along some praise McHenry County received from the state not too long ago. MCEDC Executive Director Mark Picos was on a call with the Department of Commerce and Economic Opportunity, and the DCEO representative was singing McHenry County's praises regarding our willingness to support our municipalities in ways that they had never seen other counties do. And finally, this evening, following members' comments, the County Board will have the honor of presenting a proclamation to Huntley High School senior Janiyah Slaughter, who won the IHSA State Championship and became the first girls wrestling state champion in school history. It's always a pleasure recognizing our student athletes who bring such great honor upon their school and their community. And that concludes my report. Are there members' comments tonight? Mr. Kaminsky?
Two things. One, second Mr. Bueller's statement on the Vietnam Memorial. Those were McHenry County citizens that gave their all during Vietnam. We're proud to honor them. Second, Operation Dropbox 2026. The Emergency Response Coordinator at the McHenry County Department of Health, Ms. Bridget Hoffman, is our point of contact for this important mission. I received a note from her, and some of the key takeaways are, last year, donations helped support more than 3,000 McHenry County veterans and their families. Preparation for this year's Operation Dropbox have begun, and we are hoping for your continued support. We have once again partnered with Veterans Path to Hope and would love to partner with all of you to make 2026 the biggest success yet. If interested in acting as a donation site this year, we have made the registration process a bit easier through an online registration portal that you can access through the county website. All supplies, including donation box and posters, will be provided, and donations are collected weekly by the McHenry County Department of Health or the Medical Reserve Corps. We know this is a big ask and completely understand if this is not the year possible for you. In the event you would like to help advertise the event instead of acting as a donation site, we will be happy to pass along flyers for your organization. Thank you for your generosity and for taking the time to consider this request. And we will be taking applications until the 3rd of April. You have made a difference. Please contact Ms. Hoffman at the MPH, Emergency Response Coordinator, McHenry County Department of Health. And she can be found through our portal here at McHenry County. Thank you.
Ms. Altoff?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Just on behalf of District 6, which is Member Kaminsky and I'd like to do a public thank you to the Village of Johnsburg for including us in their strategic plan this past Saturday. They had members of the school district, fire department, community members, staff, municipal staff, as well as electeds. It was a phenomenal day of idea exchange and planning for the future. So I just wanted to acknowledge them publicly. Thank you.
Mr. Shorten?
Thank you, Chairman. Vice Chairman Gottemoeller and my colleague in District 4, Joe Gottemoeller, flagged House Bill 5626, the BUILD Act, at last Thursday's Committee of the Whole. I want to add context to this evening and make sure the members of this board and the public understands what this bill actually does. Last month, on February 17th and 18th, I was in Springfield as part of the McHenry County Council of Governments delegation, organized by Executive Director Shaylin Daigle and attended by myself, Cary Mayor Mark Koenig, Crystal Lake Mayor Haig Havlian, Village President Debbie Sosina of Algonquin, and Village President Ray Bognadowski of Lake in the Hills. We met with leaders in the House and the Senate on both sides of the aisle. The conversations were substantive and constructive. Solar power, parking mandates, local zoning authority, and the consequences of state preemption were all on the table. On the afternoon of February 18th, Governor Pritzker delivered his State of the State address to a joint session of the General Assembly. By then, our delegation had dispersed. Some were in the House chamber, others watched from a viewing room in the Capitol. I was on the road back to McHenry County. This is how we learned that the governor had used the address to announce the BUILD Act, the same way everyone else did. After 2 days of good faith conversations about local zoning and authority, the announcement was both surprising and disappointing. HB 5626 is not an isolated bill. It's the third piece of legislation in 3 years that strips local zoning authority away from counties, municipalities, and hands it to Springfield. In January 2023, Governor Pritzker signed Public Act 102-1123. That law took away McHenry County's authority to regulate utility-scale solar and wind facilities on agricultural land. We had 120 days to rewrite our ordinances to comply with state standards or lose our authority entirely. This past week, I had more than a half dozen conversations with residents in my district who want to know why the board isn't stopping the solar farms spreading across our county. I have to give them the same answer every time. Springfield tied our hands. The authority was taken away from us. Your frustration is valid, and it belongs at the feet of the state. In October 2025, the People of a Parking Act eliminated local control of minimum parking requirements for developments near transit stops statewide. It takes effect June 1st of this year. Every McHenry County community with a metro station is already affected. HB 5626 follows the same playbook. The state sets the standard. Local governments cannot be more restrictive. Home rule is explicitly preempted. There is a word for a governing philosophy that systemically replaces local decision-making with centralized mandates, where the people closest to a problem are the last ones consulted. That word is totalitarianism. It exists on a spectrum. What we are seeing from Springfield is not the extreme end of that spectrum, but the pattern of consolidating power upward, removing local authority and presenting communities with mandates instead of conversations is worth naming honestly. What does this bill do? Here's what HB 5626 requires under its current wording. These are not suggestions, they are mandates. 8 months after passage, every residential zone lot in every municipality and in unincorporated McHenry County must follow the following density by right. No public hearing, no special use permit, no local vote. A lot that's up to 2,500 square feet can have 1 unit. 2,500 to 5,000 square feet up to 4 units. 5,000 up to 7,500 square feet up to 6 units. Over 7,500 square feet up to 8 units. For a frame of reference, 7,500 square feet is smaller than a standard quarter-acre residential lot. When my daughter moved from Crystal Lake to Chicago a couple years ago, I looked up her neighborhood on a satellite map. The density was striking. The green space was gone. I respect that Chicagoans may choose that. The people of McHenry County have chosen something different. This bill takes away the right of this board and every municipal body in this county to protect that choice. Every homeowner would be entitled to add a secondary unit, a converted garage, a basement apartment, a backyard cottage with no additional setbacks, no size limits, no design review. The bill explicitly strips municipalities of any authority to impose conditions beyond what applies to the house itself. Last year's People of a Parking Act said you don't need parking near a train station. HB 5626 goes further. It caps parking for all multifamily development at a half a space per unit everywhere, regardless of transit access. It eliminates parking minimums entirely for a broad range of residential projects. In a county where nearly everyone drives, this is a mandate in direct conflict with reality, and our communities have no authority to require otherwise. Right now, our school districts, park districts, and municipalities negotiate impact fees locally, fees that make developers pay for growth that they create. Under this bill, those fees are calculated using a state-issued spreadsheet. The bill says explicitly no alternative method may be used. Crystal Lake District 47, High School District 155, McHenry District 156, Woodstock District 200, none of them would have a seat at the table. From an enforcement standpoint, miss the 8-month compliance deadline and your local ordinance are void. State standards apply automatically. Any developer who believes you failed to comply can sue your community and collect attorney fees if they win. Your tax dollars. Illinois has a housing shortage, but there is a difference between solving a statewide problem and stripping every community in Illinois of its ability to govern itself. McHenry County is not the problem this bill is trying to solve. Our local state legislators know this county. I believe they understand what is at stake, but legislation does not move on good intentions alone. It moves when constituents engage. If this bill passes as written, the character of McHenry County, the open space, the neighborhoods, the communities people choose to raise their families in will be changed. And unlike a bad ordinance that a future board can repeal, the damage to our community character will not be easily undone. The window to act is now, while the bill is still in committee, before it reaches the floor. I'm asking every board member, every resident watching tonight, sitting out in front of us, to call not just your state representatives and your state senator, but all the state senators and all the state representatives that sign on as a sponsor or a co-sponsor. Tell them McHenry County is paying attention. Tell them you expect to be part of the conversation. Tell them the character of the county is not a negotiating chip. This board, our municipal partners, and the residents of this county stood together in Springfield. We need to stand together again and louder. Thank you, Chair.
Okay, seeing no further member comment, we have special recognition tonight, as I mentioned in my opening remarks. We have a proclamation honoring Janiyah Slaughter for winning the IHSA State Wrestling Championship, and Mr. Scala will read the proclamation. Ms. Slaughter, would you like to come up? You come right here. Perfect.
Okay, a proclamation honoring Janiyah Slaughter for winning the IHSA State Wrestling Championship. Whereas Huntley High School senior Janiyah Slaughter won the IHSA State Wrestling Championship at Bloomington, Illinois on February 28, 2026. And whereas Janiyah Slaughter became the first girls wrestling state champion in Huntley High School's history. And whereas she ended the season with an impressive 37-win, 2-loss record. Now therefore be proclaimed by this County Board of McHenry County, Illinois, that the members of the board congratulate Janiyah Slaughter and Coach Scott Porcher for her victory. Be it further proclaimed that this proclamation be spread upon the records of the McHenry County Board, and that the county clerk is authorized to distribute certified copies to the county administrator and Huntley High School as a sign of our respect and esteem. Dated at Woodstock, Illinois, this 18th day of March, 2026. Congratulations.
See me, I can't see you, so kind of reposition yourself so you can get everyone in here. On 3, 1, 2, 3. We'll do one more. On 3, 1, 2, 3. Thank you.
Okay, move on to zoning petitions. I'll entertain a motion to approve the zoning consent agenda. Mr. Smith makes a motion, Mr. Scala seconds. Is there any discussion on this single item we have here? Seeing none, clerk, could you open the voting, please? Voting is open. Have all voted who wish?
Wait,
Ms. Greeno, how would you like to be shown? Ms. Greeno?
yes.
I'm sorry?
Yes, can you hear me?
I can hear you now. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, motion carries. Next, move on to public comment. Just a reminder, public comment is your opportunity to address the board. You'll have 3 minutes in which to do so, at which time the red light will come on in front of you. If you haven't concluded your remarks, I would ask you to do so. First up, we have Renee Weigert, followed by Jim Rollins.
Good evening. My name is Renee Weigert, a resident of Johnsburg. Last Thursday, I stood before you to address the recent litigation regarding the proposed solar farm at Ringwood Road and Spring Grove Road. After my comments, I was handed a packet outlining a recent verdict of a similar court case. And to be honest, the outcome is not what we hoped for. And I realize this outcome has created much uncertainty. But let me be clear, this case was a different district with a different judge with different circumstances. And that matters because this case, this community, this land is different. What matters now is not what happened somewhere else. What matters is what you choose to do now. This is not a moment to step back. This is a moment to continue forward. Let's be proactive, not reactive, because the cost of pursuit is far less than the cost of irreversible effects. The cost to our farmland, the cost to our water, the cost to humanity, priceless, beyond measure. Remember, litigation is part of the process. Litigation is an opportunity to present the evidence, an opportunity to show why location matters, an opportunity to demonstrate that placing a large industrial solar project in the wrong location can have real consequences for people. The actions you take today set the stage for what communities can expect tomorrow. Board members, stay the course, be proactive, pursue this wholeheartedly until you prevail. Stand firm in the decision you made to protect this community. Thank you.
Jim Rollins, followed by Emily Grant.
Good evening. Thanks for having me up here. I, along with the surrounding property owners and the neighborhood that live right next to the proposed solar field, rely on our private water wells to get our water from. Our wells are typically 60 to 100 foot deep. They provide usable water, not the best, but usable water as long as you're using a water softener or a filter. With that said, the proposed site for the solar farm in Johnsburg must be examined carefully, very carefully, to determine whether it's the appropriate location, especially consider the number of steel pylons that will be driven into the ground. My research, and I'm not an expert, tells me that approximately 60 pylons per acre will be driven into the ground to a depth of at least 20 feet, leaving the tip of the pylon to the water table about 40, 50, 60 foot different right there. To understand the scale of this 100%, a full build-out project might involve more than 3,000 pylons. For comparison, I drove around the proposed lot today. I went down Ringwood Road and then I went down Spring Grove Road. There are 20 telephone poles total going around the outside perimeter of this proposed area. They're going to put 3,000 posts into the ground. That makes me concerned, especially because they're going to be galvanized. Galvanized is put on these pylons to slow corrosion, and sometimes they add an additional chemical called chromate. Chromate actually helps resist corrosion on these pylons as well. Even with these even with these coatings on pylons, if anybody's ever been in a house that was built in the 60s or the 70s, and somebody flushed the toilet and you were in the shower, that water pressure dropped because those galvanized pipes were corroding on the inside, reducing the flow of the water going through the house. Galvanized is not a good thing. Corrosion can happen even faster when there is copper installed near the zinc-coated or galvanized pylons. And if you do a quick search on Google, ask it how many copper rods will be installed into the ground in a solar field. You'll be a bit surprised how many copper rods are installed that are 8 to 10 foot long to keep from the lightning strikes and keep it going. These copper rods will enhance the zinc coating to come off these pylons and corrode. We need the board and the reviewing bodies to take this seriously, to consider the long-term implications. We must ensure that when the people enter Johnsburg and they're passing a solar field that could be contaminated in the water or rendering the land unusable years after the system is decommissioned, we just need you to keep moving forward with your decision that you made in December and not let the rubber stamp carry this through. Thank you.
Emily Grant, followed by Robert Terezzi.
Hi, my name is Emily Grant. I'm here addressing you today for the same reasons. Thank you for listening to your constituents and voting to defeat Water Locust Solar in a 413 vote and Pebbles Solar in a 116 vote back in December. We're here to remind you that this is not arbitrary or capricious, and that your vote was well thought out after informed and concerned citizens like myself and everyone else here presented overwhelming amounts of evidence. According to the Land Conservancy of McHenry County, it is estimated that 46,000 acres of farmland in McHenry County are at risk of being lost to conversion within the next 20 years. I also can only give you one case of a 10-acre solar farm in California that was actually decommissioned in 2011, 14 years after it was retired. Decommissioning plans will not be held accountable. Don't fold, take action, protect our community and our environment. Take them to court and see this through. Thank you.
Robert Terezzi, followed by Cassandra Hiller.
Good evening. My name is Robert Teretsky. My wife and I moved out to Spring Grove around 2.5 years ago from downtown Chicago. It's a beautiful area. We love it. We came out here, we came to this meeting this evening to show our support of the community against the solar farm project. We thank the board for what you've done in the past in voting against this, and we hope that you continue your efforts in stopping this project. I have no other prepared statement, and thank you very much.
Cassandra Hiller, followed by Justin Wagner.
Good evening. Thank you for having me this evening. I just want to first state thank you for all the comments on the BUILD Act. What you are hearing tonight is comments on the solar, and what the BUILD Act is, it will do the same thing that has happened to this county with the solar. So you were 100% accurate on everything you said, so thank you very much. So my name is Cassandra Hiller. I'm here tonight to respectfully ask you to do two things. First, uphold your prior decision to deny the Water Locust Solar Project at Ringwood Road and Spring Grove Road. And second, to continue to pursue the legal challenge to the state's significant limitations on local siting authority. I ask that you challenge in our courts and not depend on or lean on other districts. This issue is not abstract to me. It is deeply personal. My family helped settle the village of Johnsburg in the late 1800s. Our family farm sits directly across the street from this proposed site. Today, that land supports my brother's family, my uncle's family, and my parents, who all rely on well water drawn from the same groundwater system at risk here. We have been stewards of this land for more than 4 generations. We care deeply about its future, its soil, its water, and what is passed on to the next generation. Let me be clear, this is not opposition to solar energy. Renewable energy has an important role in our future, but location matters and local review matters, especially when the risks are this specific and this consequential. The proposed site is immediately adjacent to homes with a planned growth area and high-quality agricultural soils that are currently in production. Once that land is converted, it is effectively removed from agriculture for generations. More importantly, the site presents material environmental risks. The land slopes towards drainage ways that are ultimately fed into the Fox River, a primary drinking water source for over 300,000 residents, including communities like Aurora, Elgin, Sleepy Hollow, and Bartlett. More than 1.2 million people live within the Fox River watershed. At the local level, the underlying geology creates a direct vulnerability for groundwater contamination. For families like mine and many others in Johnsburg, groundwater is the sole source of drinking water. There is no redundancy and no alternative supply. Under the Public Act, we understand that your authority may be constrained, but it is not eliminated. The statute still requires that projects comply with state standards, applicable law, local ordinances adopted in alignment with the Act, and all relevant environmental protections. Where a project fails to adequately address site-specific risks, particularly those related to drainage, groundwater protection, and impacts to adjacent residences, you retain both the authority and the responsibility to act. Based on the record before you, these risks have not been sufficiently resolved. I respectfully ask that you uphold your denial on that basis and continue to defend your authority through the courts. Please also know that you have the support of residents like me. We stand with you in this effort and are here to support you in protecting our community. This is not a theoretical dispute. It is about whether local governments can still protect the health, safety, and welfare of their residents when it matters most. The decision will have lasting consequences. For my family, this is about whether the land we have cared for generations and the water we depend on every day will still be there next, safe and protected. Thank you for your time and consideration. And like I said, we are asking you just to stand firm, not just for my family, but for all the residents of Johnsburg. Thanks.
Justin Wagner, followed by Jody Whitaker. Mr. Wagner, your penmanship is impeccable. Much appreciated.
Good evening. My name is Justin Wagner, and I am a resident of Johnsburg. Back in December, I spoke about the proposed solar farm at Ringwood Road and Spring Grove Road. Tonight, I am here to represent my generation and all generations to follow. All the decisions you make now will affect us, and I urge you to think about that. More and more is coming out about the risk of solar farms this close to homes, and honestly, it doesn't feel right. It never did. 12,500 panels, 150 feet from neighborhoods. How could anyone think that's okay? We're taught something simple. If it's not right for your home, it's not right for ours. Pressure doesn't change what's right. Doing the right thing isn't always easy, but it's always worth it. Standing up once is courage. Standing firm is character. You made the right decision before. Now I'm asking you, don't stop. Finish what you started. My generation is counting on you. Future generations are counting on you. Please stand firm. Protect our homes, protect our water, protect our future. Thank you.
Jody Whitaker, followed by Heather Friedley.
Good evening, McHenry County Board and Administration. My name is Jody Whitaker, and I am the Campaigns Director for Showing Animals Respect and Kindness, or SHARK. For the last year and a half, I have had to view extreme animal torture and mutilation that occurs at steer tailing events in McHenry County and beyond. It's my colleagues, though, who have to do the difficult task of witnessing and documenting this suffering firsthand. We do greatly appreciate the McHenry County Sheriff's Department for taking action against these crimes from last August and charging 5 men with cruelty to animals. I'm not sure if you saw the video, or the videos I should say, but one video shows a man kicking a steer in the face at least 10 times while the steer is on the ground and downed. However, after this criminal activity last August, on August 16th, there was much more violence against prey animals committed on September 28th. A month later. As you know, SHARK has a wealth of footage of sadistic men electrocuting animals in the face, their genitals, and all over their bodies with 10,000 volts of electricity, whipping, kicking, and punching them in their face, shattering their legs, spines, horns, and backs, and ripping their tails from their bodies, which is called degloving. Degloving is not merely pulling a little hair off the tail. It is mutilation, as the tail is a direct extension of the backbone. The tail contains nerves and blood vessels, making it a functional body part rather than just hair, and injuring it causes pain. My associates and I don't enjoy spending our weekends all summer witnessing such horrific brutality against animals, but somebody has to bear witness to this immense suffering. We do this heartbreaking work because animals deserve better and the law prevents this cruelty, and every single event violates Illinois law. We do it also because neither the Illinois Department of Agriculture, Animal Control, nor law enforcement attends these events to monitor animals being criminally harmed. But even if they did, nobody, not even a veterinarian, can prevent serious injuries when animals are being tormented while in the chute, forced to run at breakneck speeds, only to be grabbed violently by their tails and slammed into the ground. There's absolutely no way to hold a steer tailing event without violating the Illinois Humane Care for Animals Act. On behalf of the more than 50 veterinarians and animal protection organizations that represent millions of people, we urge the board as soon as possible to introduce an ordinance that to prohibit the issuance of any new steer tailing permits, as well as an ordinance prohibiting the banning or the dragging or pulling of bovines by their tails for the purpose of entertainment, sport, practice, or contest. That's the exact language of SB 45. But Illinois legislators have not yet passed this bill. But you all can pass an ordinance here in McHenry County prohibiting future permits and prohibiting the dragging or pulling of bovines by their tails.
Summarize your comments, please.
Thank you for your time and consideration, and I would appreciate a response soon to the email I sent you all today. And I truly hope that shark never has to come back to Woodstock, Marengo, or any part of McHenry County to witness such violence against animals. Thank you.
Heather Friedley, followed by Helen Whitaker.
Good evening. I'd first like to thank the board for your community service. It's much appreciated. I know your job is not an easy one. My name is Heather, and I'm a Crystal Lake resident. I'm here tonight also to lend my voice to the individuals that have been subject to the criminal violence and torture in my county and others in the state. The violence has been disguised as a cultural sport where men force unwilling participants to take part in a frightening, violent event that results in criminal animal abuse. Gentle horses are being exploited and forced to chase innocent steers running for their lives so that a small man riding them can feel big by grabbing their tail, wrapping it around their leg, pulling them down, and body slamming them, resulting in broken legs, spines, horns, and broken or degloved tails, which, as Jody explained, is pulling off their tails with skin and subcutaneous tissue. I can't even imagine the immense pain and suffering they experience. I understand this is an ag county, but steer tailing has nothing to do with agriculture or farming, and it's not your average rodeo. These are intentional violent acts of dominance and animal cruelty, and I don't know what we're teaching our children here. With the issuance of permits, it would appear that the county is teaching them that criminal animal cruelty is acceptable. I'm not okay with that, and I'm not okay with my tax dollars supporting permits for this disgusting and heart-wrenching animal abuse, and I hope you feel the same way. If you haven't yet seen the footage, I urge you to go to sharkonline.org, where you can access the video clips, which are really hard to watch. I'll skip some of what Jody said. The criminals have been observed breaking numerous state and county laws at these events, but they're not being enforced. Criminal animal cruelty charges are a slap on the wrist and are not enough. The criminal participants laugh at the charges and brag about their criminal animal abuse on social media posts. I'm urging you to please remove your participation in the violence and never issue another steer tailing permit again. And I ask the county to introduce the measure to enact a ban on the brutal steer tailing before any more innocent beings are forced into this disgusting display of violence. It's grossly unacceptable in McHenry County or anywhere. Thank you for your thoughtful consideration and action for these innocent and vulnerable victims.
Helen Whitaker.
Hello, my name is Helen. I live in Huntley, and I live in McHenry County in Huntley. I'm here to support my daughter and her organization to stop this awful, awful sport. All I can say is I hope this county board will pass the ordinance or bill to end steer tailing, especially also in McHenry County. And I would like to say that whatever being you believe in, I would ask that you ask, my eyesight's terrible, and protect people, protects people, that you would ask that person or that being to do the same for those who have no voice. And can I say something about the previous?
You have 3 minutes to talk about anything you would like.
Okay, I believe in solar because I have solar panels on my house. I just wonder why they keep making solar farms and using all that land for homely solar panels when they could put them on the tops of especially flat top buildings and leave the lovely ground open for the animals. Thank you.
That concludes the public comment portion of our meeting. We'll move on to new and unfinished business. I'll entertain a motion to approve item 13A. I called the ones that were checked to speak. You signed up a... Come on up.
Opportunity.
We let everyone speak here.
Well, thank you for that. I appreciate it. Am I starting my 3 minutes?
Yes.
All right. Well, good evening, everybody. My name is Justin Czar. I represent the Algonquin Hills subdivision in Algonquin. Unfortunately, I'm not here to talk about solar or steer tailing tonight. I'm here because of a dangerous disconnection between McDOT, which is the McHenry County DOT, and the Algonquin Township Road District, a gap that is preventing emergency vehicles from safely reaching our residents. So in 2024, McDOT staff conducted a comprehensive audit of the non-dedicated subdivision roads program, a program I'm sure many of the people on this board wish they never had to hear about ever again. That audit produced some very important documents, including the original 1926 plats of my neighborhood, that found that they were clearly lacking the private labels that the township has used for nearly a century to deny service to our residents. These documents and others were turned over to the Highway Commissioner in 2024, where they were promptly ignored and have been ignored ever since then. So since when did following the law become optional? So while Commissioner Sandberg is ignoring us, I dug into the archives and found some evidence they missed. In 2012, nearly half a mile of the roads in my neighborhood were paved using MFT funds, which are state funds. Under the Illinois Highway Code, this public expenditure of a road improvement triggered a mandatory acceptance of these roads into the township system. This law was discussed extensively during the October 2024 Transportation Committee meeting that was attended by many of the board members that are here tonight. I have provided this evidence to both McDOT and the road commissioner and have been met with silence. Being careful to avoid a paper trail is what people do when they know that the facts are not on their side. This matters because while these agencies play hot potato with the law, our infrastructure is creating life safety hazards for our residents. I have documented through roads on your official maps that are now physically impassable due to years of neglect. If an ambulance hits a wall of trees on a mapped road, or a glare of ice that they cannot traverse on a washed out road, this dispute quickly turns into a wrongful death liability. Tonight, I am requesting that the county engineer formally review and issue a statement on the evidence that I have provided, which reinforces the county's own audit. I have the papers here for anybody that wants them. I'm asking this board to facilitate a meeting between the McHenry County DOT and Ms. Sandberg to reconcile these maps once and for all. Please help us end this deadlock so that our families can have the safety and accountability that we already pay for. For anybody who's interested, you can go to YouTube, search the roads, plural, to Nowhere Algonquin. You can watch my videos talking more about this because unfortunately I can't tell the whole story in just 3 minutes. So thank you to everybody for listening. Again, if anybody wants a copy of the documentation that I have put together, including the folks on the Transportation Committee who were in the October 2024 meeting,
Summarize your comments, please.
Please let me know. Thank you again.
My name is Joan Brum. I am here to speak about the solar farm. I have stood before you previously, so you understand our plight regarding the impact of the placement of Water Locust Solar Farm in relation to our wetland, the floodplains, and the aquifer. You have heard me say that there is no agency within the state of Illinois that has jurisdiction over this unusual situation to preserve a town's water, floodplains, and aquifers. These same agencies, including the EPA, who did an informal assessment for me, tell me there will be an impact from this solar farm placement, but they have no authority. You have heard us and stood with our community and denied the solar farm. To add to our issues, the Village of Johnsburg residents have recently received and notified that our water company was sold to another, the Illinois American Water Company. Now, this company has informed us that significant improvements are required of our water and sewage system with significant cost increase to the citizens. This issue has been placed in review with the Illinois Commerce Commission to determine need and cost to us. We already knew that our water system is fragile, and the added effects of this solar farm runoff into wetlands and leaching into our aquifer will only compound these issues. I ask that you continue to hear us and stand with our community. I ask the board to remain strong and fight for what's right wholeheartedly until to the end of this. Thank you very much.
Did anyone else wish to speak who signed up? Nope. Okay, public comment is concluded. I'll entertain a motion to approve item 13A under new and unfinished business. Mr. Scala makes the motion, seconded by Ms. Altoff. Discussion? Mr. Scala.
Yes, this is the item that I would like to have go back to administrative services for a reappraisal and a public auctioning or some form of which to get rid of the excess land. So with that, I'll make a motion to move item 13A to administrative services.
Second. Ms. Campbell. Discussion on the motion? Seeing none, all in favor say aye. Aye. Against? Motion carries. Move on to standing committee reports. Do any chairmans or liaisons have reports for us tonight? Oh, appointments? Oh, there we go. I'll entertain a motion to approve the appointment to the Sheriff's Merit Commission as of March 18th, 2026. Ms. Von Bergen makes the motion, seconded by Mr. Gottemoller. Any discussion? Seeing none. Clerk, could you open the voting, please? Voting is open. Have all voted who wish?
Ms. Greeno, how would you like to be shown?
Yes.
Motion carries. Now we'll move on to standing committee chair and liaison reports. Does anyone have a report for us tonight? Seeing none, proceed.
Oh, I do. I'm sorry.
Go ahead, Ms. Greeno.
Yes, this morning there was a meeting for the Workforce Investment Board, and there was quite a bit of action regarding the apprentice task force and the action taken for the quite a lot with the one-stop operator procurement, where the RFP was put out and the selection was made with the existing providers that have been serving in that area for the last few years. And it was an excellent RFP, and a lot of work went into that. The action plan for the regional workforce was also approved. There's been action and presentation made for the homeless employment roundtable and also the apprentice task force. And there have been updates on the workforce kiosks and the adult and youth services procurement update. and also updates on the member statements of economic interest, which are coming up. And the next meeting will be held May 20th at 7:30 a.m. for anybody who would like to be there. The coffee will be ready. Thank you.
Next, we have the routine consent agenda. Do any members have items they'd like to remove from the routine consent agenda? Mr. Kaminsky.
16B Bravo .2.7, just for separate vote.
Okay.
And also, I
16
would like to have
Go ahead, Kate.
Oh, sorry.
Go ahead, Ms. Greeno.
Yes, 16.B.2.9.
Any others? Seeing none, I'll entertain a motion to approve the routine consent agenda, less items 16B27, 16B29. Mr. Scala makes the motion. Mr. Gottemoller seconds. Clerk, could you open the voting, please? Voting is open. Have all voted who wish?
Ms. Greeno, how would you like to be shown?
Yes.
Motion carries. Next, I'll entertain a motion to approve item 16B27. Mr. Kaminsky makes the motion, seconded by Mr. Scala. Any discussion? Seeing none. Clerk, could you open the voting, please? Voting is open. Have all voted who wish?
Ms. Greeno, how would you like to be shown?
Yes.
Motion carries. Next, I'll entertain a motion to approve item 16B29. Ms. Altoff makes the motion. Mr. Scala seconds. Any discussion?
Yes.
Ms. Greeno, go ahead.
Yes. This is from a $25,000 grant, and the premise would be that the members of the board would receive a stipend, and this is allowed in counties with populations between 100,000 and 300,000 for the board members to receive a stipend. So this would be covered under a grant. The grant is taxpayer money, and when discussed in the Finance Committee and questioned, going forward, this would be coming from taxpayer levy money, and so questioned on these board members are volunteers. They're not elected positions, and most of them are professionals and well-qualified professionals. And as we know, we have many commissions and board members that are serving in these positions. And the stipend would be a small amount that would not be significant as far as the service goes. I know that many of us have served on boards over the years with quite significant duties where we've had to rely on our subject matter expertise in areas, and we consider it acts of service. And so with the fact that we are the highest property taxing state in the nation, that we are trying to find areas where we can reduce our taxing, and this is such an insignificant amount, I know, if we're not willing to take action in this area, and of course we do very, very much appreciate the service of the thousands and thousands of people who volunteer in the county in many, many ways. But certainly this would be something that we could allow this money from this grant to go back into other areas in public health to alleviate the demand on the levy and then be used this year and then not put that pressure on next year. So I would ask that we would do this now and not have the stipend start to become part of the levy going forward. Again, we deeply appreciate the service on this board, but this is not something that we're going to be doing for commissions and boards across the, the county. So I did discuss this publicly in the Finance Committee, and while it's appreciated, it's just not something that is going to be significant in the lives of these people. And although I know appreciated, but again, these are people that are professionals giving us active service to this community.
Thank you, Ms. Greeno. Ms. Altoff.
I agree with many of the concerns raised by Member Greeno. And as the liaison to the Board of Health, let me make a couple of points. One, absolutely correct, volunteers, but it is a requirement by statute for licensed professionals to serve in this capacity. And over the past many years, the call upon them is much increased in the amount of time and in the number of meetings that they are asked to attend. And just as we, as the board for the county, review our budget, let me remind everyone that the Board of Health budgets their budget. They bring their budget forward to us to review, make comments, but it's their budget. They must decide how to spend the monies according to their duties, responsibilities, and the grant dollars that they do receive. They review that budget just as significantly and as detailed as we do our budget. And they always are here to answer those questions. This is a minimal amount of money, and as much as I would agree that people should volunteer and feel good about it, the demands upon these people who are licensed professionals and don't work just 9 to 5, they're obviously on call all the time. I think that they deserve this consideration. And just as we evaluate our salaries and our benefits, they do the same. And I think that they've waited a very long time. We are the only county in the Collar area that has not ever initiated any type of compensation for these individuals. And with gas prices going up and all of the time that they give, I really think that this is a minimal amount, and they will evaluate their budget, and they will determine moving forward whether or not this is something they can continue to do or not continue to do.
Excuse me.
Ms. Greeno, I'll come back to you if you'd like to make further comment, but I'm going to take them in order of those who haven't spoken yet. Mr. Sagar.
Thank you, Chairman. Point of clarification. The stipend this coming fiscal year would be provided by the grant. And there's nothing that says that that grant could not possibly be a possibility in the future. Is that correct? It could be possible in the future?
Mr. Hartman.
Well, just to clarify, the stipend is not funded by a grant. During the presentation, it was noted that the health department did receive a grant that will cover operating costs they would otherwise have incurred. So it created a savings into the operating budget for the health department because of this grant. And that then it creates budget that would allow for this expenditure to happen without a budget adjustment this year. So it's not specifically grant funded.
All right, very good. I appreciate that clarification. And the other clarification is that there was a commentary that we would have to, if we were to see this approved in the future by the board, that we would have to increase the levy, but that's not correct because that is coming from the sales tax. Is that not correct?
What the health department is funded through the general fund, and this would be an expense to the general fund moving forward.
I'm sorry. Yes, thank you. I apologize.
Okay. Ms. Greeno, did you have further comment?
Well, yes, what I thought Melissa had presented in finance was that this statute stated that the population was between 100,000 and 300,000 in the county. Was that correct?
I got you, Melissa. Hold on.
Oh, sorry. I kept pressing it and you had me. So the statute does say that counties with a population of more than 100,000 but less than 3 million and contiguous to any county with a metropolitan area with more than 1 million may establish compensation. Does that answer your question?
Yes, I think maybe when you were speaking in the meeting, you might have taken off a 0. Okay, thank you. Okay.
Okay, seeing no further comment, clerk, could you open the voting, please?
Voting is open.
Voting is open. Have all voted who wish?
Ms. Greeno, how would you like to be shown?
No.
Motion carries. Mr. Hartman, you got a report for us tonight? Oh, wait a minute, we got a ordinance. I'm skipping way ahead all night tonight. We have one up for review, one for action. I'll entertain a motion to approve item 17B1.
There's two for action.
Do we want to take them together? You want to make that motion? It's going to be easier for Greg if we don't. It'll take him longer to do that than do it one at a time. So I'll entertain a motion for 17B1. Mr. Scala makes a motion, seconded by Mr. Collins. Any discussion? Seeing none, clerk, could you open the voting?
Voting's open.
Voting is open. Have all voted who wish?
Ms. Greeno, how would you like to be shown?
Yes.
Motion carries. Next, I'll entertain a motion to approve item 17B2. Mr. Scala makes the motion. Mr. Smith seconds. Any discussion? Seeing none, clerk, could you open the voting, please?
Voting's open.
Voting is open. Have all voted who wish?
Ms. Greeno, how would you like to be shown?
Yes.
Motion carries. Mr. Hartman, got a report?
Yes, I do. Just a couple of items. First off, I want to thank our emergency closure assessment team for convening at 4:30 in the morning on Monday morning to determine whether or not the county buildings and offices should close due to the weather or remain open. Ultimately, the determination was made actually through Chairman and Chief Judge Federer to keep the county offices open. So we did, but there was many people on that call bright and early, and I do want to thank them for taking that time to help Chairman Bueller and Chief Judge Federer make that decision. Secondly, just a reminder that on Friday, April 10th at 9:00 a.m., there will be a ribbon cutting for the Crystal Lake Nursing and Animal Control Facility. It is a reopening because should be finished with that construction. This event will also commemorate the McHenry County Department of Health's 60th anniversary, marking 6 decades of serving and protecting the health of our community. And the final item, just to let you know, the strategic plan report card has been updated and posted on the website. So please take some time to look at the great accomplishments that the county board and the county as an organization had accomplished over the past month. I want to thank our administrative intern, Alex Wall, for putting all that together. So thank you. That's all I have.
Thank you, sir. I will entertain a motion to adjourn. Mr. Scala makes the motion. Ms. Altoff seconds. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Motion carries. Have a good night.